I'm required to sign a permission slip if my children leave campus for a field trip. I'm required to give the school a list of adults who are and are not allowed to pick my children up from school. If I want my kids to have access to the school library, consent form. Get a cough drop, consent form.
While some Republican states are pushing back against teachers discussing sexual orientation and gender identity with children, some Democratic cities want to expand LGBTQ+ issues in the classroom.
So my question to you, GUSD, is where is the consent form that gives this school district or any other school district permission to discuss, diagnose, or affirm my child's sexual orientation or gender identity?
Outside the school board meeting on June 6, at least 3 people were arrested as pro- and anti-LGBTQ+ demonstrators faced off against each other.
They need to stop asking little children what they sexually identify as.
Anybody could come to the principal and say, you know what, I'm transgender, and walk in the girls' bathroom.
Amongst other issues being discussed was whether to recognise June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month, a resolution that was later approved.
So there are 62 cards.
Those expressing support included many from organised local community groups, including those representing LGBTQ+ rights. And while at my count there were a lot less than 62 speakers, maybe because of the trouble outside, the vast majority of those who spoke were happy with the direction of children's education.
Sexual orientation and gender identity education is important in schools for our students' health and lives.
I think including LGBTQ topics in our curriculum is an essential step to creating a more inclusive educational environment.
One of the less vocalized arguments came from LGB activist Belissa Cohen, a self-described non-conforming kid at school who was bullied.
I'm here on the side of parents who want to keep the focus in schools on academics rather than on sexual orientation or on so-called gender identity, which is a fake made-up concept with no basis in material reality and does not help kids get ahead in life.
Ms. Cohen suggested that same-sex attraction is a separate issue to the vaguely defined TQ+, which lacks clear definition. For those who aren't aware, TQ stands for transgender and queer, while plus apparently accounts for many other identities, for example, asexual or intersex.
Those letters represent the harmful ideology that's impacting kids' education, and parents need to be aware that saying this jumble of letters together reinforces the harmful ideology that you oppose. What non-conforming kids need is to be taught math, reading, science, tech, history, and like any kid, stop selling kids short.
Ms. Cohen didn't receive any applause for her comments, but then others had already highlighted worrying trends that go more to mental health than inclusivity.
No one is trying to turn straight kids into queer kids. We are trying to make sure that you don't turn queer kids into dead kids. 45% of LGBTQ+ youth seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year, including more than half of transgender and non-binary youth.
To many people's minds, this is not an inclusivity issue.
The only thing that I want to say is there is a lot of mental health issues.
Fox News made the point that in neighbouring LA, the school board there expanded gender awareness in schools. They voted to make June Pride Month, October LGBTQ History Month, October 11th National Coming Out Day, November 20th Transgender Day of Remembrance, March 31st Transgender Day of Visibility, and April 12th LGBTQ Day of Silence.
Any child in almost any school, at least in the state of California, can approach a teacher in a so-called safe space, tell them they identify as the opposite gender without a diagnosis from a trained mental health professional, and these teachers have the right to hide this information from the parents, hide the student file, alter the gender on the file, affirm the new identity, use their new preferred pronouns, and begin the process of helping them transition, all under the guise of love, inclusion, and mental health. This is not love. Thank you.